What is going on, everyone? My name is Jazz, and thanks for entering the Lobby of Hobbies, where on today's episode of Lobby Talks, I'm going to be sharing with you just a few of the many board game content creator accounts that I follow on my Instagram. So stay tuned for this one because hopefully you'll discover some accounts that you don't already follow that are worth checking out. So let's get into this. Okay, so in my last video for Lobby Talks, I was sharing with you guys the board games that I packed to take with me on vacation. Now, yes, last week I returned from vacation, sad but true. I know life must go on and work pays the bills. But in any event, my wife, my daughter, and I, we had a blast. We flew down to Puerto Rico along with my parents and my siblings. Even my aunt, my uncles, and one of my cousins who live in other parts of the country flew over as well, all of us fully vaccinated. So the plan was we were going to surprise my grandmother, who was turning 80 years old. So she was fully vaccinated and she had no idea we were coming. So we had a nice little get together for her, and we played it safe. We masked up, but what was awesome about this event was that to see the look on my grandmother's face, seeing her children, her grandchildren, and meeting her granddaughter for the first time, it just reminded me of how important family is and that family community and building that up, right? But it also reminded me of the vision here at the Lobby of Hobbies. It's about building this board gaming community, introducing new people to the community so they understand how awesome this hobby is that we're a part of. But I was also reminded of it on the second day of my trip. So I get a notification on my phone from an Instagram account that I follow called Foster the Meeple. And it says that the Lobby of Hobbies was mentioned in one of their stories. So I open it up and it sends me to their YouTube page, which I'm subscribed to as well. So I go to their YouTube channel, and Jeff and Jamie put together a segment that they do all the time called Board Games and Brew, where they talk about board games and board gaming things. So I think I got that right, guys. But yeah, in this segment, they were mentioning board game channels that they love. And they mentioned me in the Lobby of Hobbies in there, which, I'm so grateful for and thankful because, just to be mentioned in the same breath as some of these channels, it's just an honor and I'm humbled by it. Channels like Table Knots, Max and Doolin over there, and Thinker Themer, Amy and Maggie, just awesome channels. And I was even introduced to one channel that I wasn't subscribed to. All of the other ones I was subscribed. So thanks for that, guys, because now I'm fully subscribed. But yeah, Jeff and Jamie, along with some of their friends, they put together, a variety of content, playthroughs, reviews, even their friend Zach put together a miniatures painting video, I think just past week or last week. So yeah, check them out. I'm going to put a link down in the description so that you guys can subscribe to them, but also subscribe to the other channels that they mentioned in that video. But yeah, so they were just talking about, different board game content creators that they just enjoy watching. And it just reminded me of what, we do. It's about building community. So I wanted to, take that video as an inspiration to do this video, all right? And to share just some of the content creators that I follow on Instagram. This is just a few of the many that I follow on Instagram. But the reason I wanted to share it with you is because, while if you're like me, I take a lot of, YouTube content creators, and especially board game YouTube content creators, and I ingest a lot of it. But many of us, maybe don't have the time throughout our day to sit down and watch all these board game videos and things like that on YouTube. But many of us have an Instagram account, and we go through on Instagram, and we can look at some pictures or watch those short videos. So that's probably an easier way for us to take in some content. And there are some awesome content creators, out there on Instagram. So I'm going to share some of the few that I follow, and hopefully if you guys are not already following, you'll follow some of these as well. So without further ado, let's get into this list with the first ones on it. And if you haven't guessed it already, that is Gaming with Sidekicks. Now, these guys I've dubbed the Four Horsemen, specifically because these guys were lethal in the Dice Masters competitive scene. This is Isaac, JT, Randy, and Stuart. These were guys used to run a Dice Masters podcast, strictly Dice Masters, along with a website. And this is where you would go to if you wanted to be a competitive Dice Master player to get all that competitive edge and knowledge. And then as the Dice Master scene started to die out, they didn't die out with it. They took their love for board games and they transitioned it over into Gaming with Sidekicks. If you go to their Instagram account, you'll find a link to their website, and on their website they have written reviews, Kickstarter previews. They also even have board game interviews where they're interviewing designers and content creators. They even did like a board game fantasy draft a few years ago, which was really neat and really interesting and unique to see. If you've seen the Table Knots fantasy draft that I did with them, this was similar. This was, in a written form. They did it a few years ago. So it was awesome to read that as well. So check them out on that website. They even have their podcast. I know Isaac has recently been doing some YouTube content videos and live streams on Facebook with Ryan over on another YouTube channel called One Board Family. Those two have been collabing together and they do a live stream. I think it's bi-weekly. So check out Gaming with Sidekicks and give them a follow. Now, the second Instagram account you should be checking out is called whatsericplaying. Now, Eric has an awesome account where if you go through, you'll see some incredible photography, board game photography. And if you click on some of these board game photography, you'll see like little snippets of, reviews. But if you go to his profile, that'll take you to his website, whatsericplaying.com, where he has, the full extensive review or even Kickstarter preview of these games. And I'm talking about awesome detail. If you want to know, what a game is like and the feel for it, when I read his reviews, I get a feel sometimes like I'm playing this game. It really, I feel immersed in the writing. So it's definitely, one worth checking out. He even has a YouTube channel where he's been doing a segment called Late Night Table Talk, where he talks with, designers and content creators in the industry. So definitely check what Eric's been doing. It's called What's Eric Playing, and check out that account. Again, all these accounts, I'm going to put the Instagram handles down in the description. So the third account that I have, it's a fairly newer account. I think they've been doing it just since January on Instagram, and man, have they blown up. And that is Nick and Mandy over at Happy Meeples. They just put up some awesome, it's like a couple that just loves the board gaming hobby. They seem genuine in their live streams and the videos that they put up. Just awesome group, funny group of people that you just want to sit down at a table and play games with. And they have a good variety and a mix of the type of games that they like to talk about and review. They do some live unboxings, things like that. So definitely check them out. That is Happy Meeples. So the fourth one on my list is a very interesting account. It's McKay over at The Board Critic. Now, The Board Critic is an account that I started following because they were doing these board game brackets where they would have they would pit together, they did one I think for Take That Games, they did one for, games with the best art, and they were just had, submissions for board games to be in this bracket, almost like a March Madness type thing. And, people would vote on their Instagram stories on which, board game would have the best art, which board game was the better Take That Game of the two. And they would, pit them together until they, reach the finals, which is just awesome because, day by day throughout the week, you'll see these board games being matched up against each other. And it's just awesome how it brings the community together, to be engaged in this content that you see on Instagram. So definitely check out this account. They even have a YouTube channel. They have a podcast as well. So all the links are going to be in their profile over there on Instagram. Now my next two accounts are super funny accounts that I go to when I want a good laugh. The first one is Brain in a Jar, and this is Casey. Now, Casey puts together some TikTok videos and then she uploads them into her Instagram, and I'm super thankful for that because I don't have TikTok. But she makes her videos super relatable, super funny, but also relatable. She has one that I can think off the top of my head. It's how I believe I'm perceived when I'm teaching a board game versus how I'm actually perceived when I'm teaching a board game. It makes me chuckle just thinking about it because that's exactly how it is every time I'm teaching a board game. She also does reviews and recommendations. She recently did one, games that she would recommend to somebody who has a short attention span. But she even started a Twitch account with her husband, and they do live streams of games that they're playing. So definitely get connected with Brain in a Jar, and also follow them and check them out over on Twitch. But the next account is another person who has TikTok videos that they put into Instagram as well, and I'm super thankful for. And this is the.games.dmax.plays, and this is Danielle. Now Danielle has some super creative videos as well that are super hilarious, but these are things that like I wouldn't have thought of these ways to explain games to people. She has a segment called Game Mechanics 101, and I'm a huge worker placement fan, but she has this one video. It's called Game Mechanics 101, and it's teaching worker placement in the form of a buffet line. Now, I would have never, been able to think of this off the top of my head, but she's done it, and she's made it understandable for people who don't understand board games, but also funny as well. So definitely check out the games.dmax.plays. Now, these last two accounts are accounts that are similar in their right, but very unique as well from each other. The first one is Board Games in a Minute, and this is Sarah Shaw. Now, Sarah puts together very concise 1-minute board game reviews and pretty much giving you an understanding of what that board game is, how it plays, and whether or not you will, if it's a game for you, and you'll be able to understand whether or not this might be a game for you in just that 1 minute. I don't know how she does it, making something so concise, but also, full of information. So definitely check out Sarah's videos, and this is Board Games in a Minute. Not only is she on Instagram, she's on TikTok, but she also has a YouTube channel as well, where she has some, longer form content as well with the last one, which is 1-minute board games. And this is Raina and Phil. Now, Raina and Phil, again, they have TikTok. Now they're on Instagram as well. They even have longer content over on YouTube. But they have a variety of stuff here. They have game tutorials, also board game reviews, board game recommendations, and just some overall just funny videos. So definitely check them out. They even post pictures of the games that they're playing, on their, their game nights and things like that. So super awesome variety. All of these people look like down-to-earth people as well that I could, have them at a table and enjoy that time with. So definitely check these accounts out. I'm pretty sure if you're not already following them, these are accounts that you definitely want to be following. But I want to thank you guys for coming through, for watching this video and checking out some of these accounts that I'm sharing with you. Hopefully you discovered something that's worth checking out as well. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, why don't you hit that subscribe button along with that bell icon? That way you can be notified anytime we drop new content here. And if you like the content here, why don't you hit that thumbs up as well? Smash that. But down in the comments below, do me a favor, share some of the Instagram accounts that you follow, because I'd love to discover some new content creators as well. And if you are sharing photos and you're sharing videos on your Instagram accounts, whether you know it or not, you are contributing to this community as well, because you yourself are a content creator and probably don't even consider it. So I want to thank you so much. I'll check you guys out on the next episode.